Hello, collective. This is going to be a brand new message deck for today that I made especially for you. And it's surrounding the topic, the energy of sorry you feel that way. You know, Sometimes people aren't happy with our choices. Oh, well, they are not paying our bills. They are not the ones achieving our goals for us. We are. So if they don't align with our goals, sometimes they feel like they have some entitlement to say something about that. And this is just going to be your response. Well, sorry you feel that way, right? You could be getting guidance from somebody above, somebody specifically that has passed over, that is, skyward and el cielo. Collective, you may possess an angelic light that is helping you as well. This is kind of like the lantern there, okay? Yes, there is a sweetness about you, okay? And you need to remember to give this kindness to yourself as you do with others. A lot of us, we are kind of programmed and conditioned to do that automatically for others, especially if you are more in a caretaking role. Say, especially if you're, female, typically more in caretaking role. I'm not saying men aren't in their own way, and some men certainly are. 144 on the clock. Okay, so I'm not trying to leave anybody out. But for the caretaking that you're doing for yourself, maybe you are giving yourself some flowers, right? Like the Miley Cyrus song, right? I can buy my own flowers, okay? Yeah. Keep on keeping on. Exactly. Instead of saying, oh, I wish I had somebody to buy me flowers, right? As walking down the down the avenue, right? When I was overseas and we went up to the Netherlands, we walked down a whole row where they were selling all the tulips and all those sorts of things. It's like if you want flowers, that would be the time to buy yourself some flowers, and smile about it, right? Don't worry so much about the fact that somebody else isn't giving you your flowers right now because sometimes those folks just never will come around, and if they do, it's on their own time. And maybe it's because they feel some sort of way because you were raised differently than they were, and blah blah blah. No, they can't possibly because of this and this, and it's like, okay, now who's rolling out the judgments? Okay. Have we not learned yet on this planet? Okay. So, yeah, that message is to you to just ignore the haters, right? And just keep on keeping on. Okay. With your little, you said, I decided to stop and smell the roses. Okay. Okay. So, who said, you know what I mean? Bright. People have opinions. Okay, well, coming from who? Coming from who that never finishes anything? Coming from who that blah, blah, blah? Coming from, you know what I mean? Okay, not trying to throw that judgment back, but there's a little return to sender energy, isn't it? You know? And they said, what about it? And eliciting the WTF sometimes, right? Like, thanks for your opinion, pal. Obviously, you're part of the peanut gallery, okay? And now the rest of us have to have the adult conversation, okay? Do you know what I'm saying? So, for many of you, you are being asked to listen, to receive. A lot of times, what is that song? You should be talking to my best friend. She's always talking when she should be listening. La 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 la, da la la la. Oh, I finally found you. Right? Doo doo boop boop. What is that? I got a crush on you, right? Was that Lisa? I can't. It was either Lisa, or what was it? The Jets, right? Talk about some good roller skating songs back in the day. Okay. So if you have trouble getting into that mood, like literally change what you're listening to. Maybe you've been listening to the news too much. Maybe you've been listening to your kids' video games too much. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to go back and remember, like, what did I actually, what actually gave me that happy little thought, right? And then when you start listening to that, you're going to start to receive the information and the messages you need to move forward continually. Okay. So that whoever has feelings about it, again, it's a sorry you feel that way, not like, oh, I feel like I need to apologize for existing and breathing. No, I do not. So you can up yours with that little, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like what the arrow is. It's kind of the up yours at the end, like, sorry you feel that way, and up yours. You know what I mean? Like, your opinion means squat in this situation. Okay. Yeah, you're moving on to fight one more day. And when I was writing this card out and I was writing down more day and think of like Morris Day, like, not everybody can be Prince, right? Can have the career of Prince, but even Morris Day had a pretty good career, right? If you're talking about entertainment industry where you're hot one minute and the next you're not and all that kind of stuff, they even say that on Project Runway and the Heidi Klum, in fashion you're either in or you out, like whatever. So yeah. So, again, collective, you're fighting one more day by stopping and smelling the roses, buying your flowers, and giving yourself a little thanks and giving yourself a little happy dance for everything that you've been doing. And some of that is, having that happy little thought. Okay, so what is your silly string? Okay, like if there was that one other person in the room and like, y'all are, I mean, it happens, right? Sometimes it's just, we cannot be serious all the freaking time, right? And then like you happen to look over at somebody and it's like that episode of the Pez dispenser, right? In Seinfeld, and then they're laughing maniacally at this stupid Pez dispenser. But it's just, proving to you that, hey, life's a gas, we're not here for a long time, folks, so make the most of it. You know what I mean? We're here a relatively short time on this planet. Okay, so, taking time to pull your silly string a little bit and, get loose, loose like a goose, loosey goosey, right? It's okay. Okay. And maybe you're somebody, instead of a silly string, you have a funny bone, okay? Or some funny bonies. Maybe you're somebody who likes to crack jokes, whatever it is, okay? So, whatever your style, okay? And then also collective, I was writing this out and then I realized because I was just channeling as I was writing, right? And then, so for a lot of you collective, you may be sight readers in more way than one. Like you visualize something before, or you don't have to look at every single letter. You know what the word is. It's just kind of like a matter of placing the rest, okay? Like typesetting, and that's kind of how this was. And I was writing it. I was like, oh, I realized I was like, oh, but this was kind of like somebody kind of denying you your natural gifts and abilities is just hogwash, right? It's baloney. They're a phony baloney, right? So you may have some kind of gift of sight. You may be very good at, you could be one of these people that like of the photographic memory, right? Where you see something one time and you pretty much have it like memorized, that's not to say it's not a skill that, you have to work at like other skills, that other people learn, but it's just, for some of you, a potential gift. Okay. And so that's the easiest way for me to think of to explain it in the 3D. Okay. But for some of you, it may operate in a little different form, right? In terms of more like telepathic in nature. Again, when you're looking across the room to somebody else, you're not, it's all nonverbal. You're not saying, hey, hey, hey. No, you're just looking at each other. It's like, just because you're not verbalizing anything doesn't mean you're not talking to each other, okay? Like, let's get a clue, right? Let's open up our sight, right? Sometimes people say second sight, like, oh yeah, hindsight's 2020. Oh yeah, I guess I did kind of notice, when I was out with so and so, they were, checking, looking this way and that way, you know what I mean? So maybe they were full of, blowing smoke at you, basically, right? Okay. So, that being said, you all are going to be like, alrighty then. So, whatever that phony baloney was, whatever, like the Ace Ventura guy, he's just like, okay. And on to the next thing. Alrighty then. Okay. So, I feel like that's kind of the mode that you guys are going to be in. And anybody that doesn't like it, you're gonna show them the door. Okay, there's that new Teddy Swim song out that I like. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you, baby, that I don't play your game no more, right? Thought I was winning, when you showed me the door. Okay. So yeah, if it's not jiving with your banana, you're just gonna be like, look, I'm showing you the door. Okay. Yeah, I try we tried to tell you, yeah. People tried to tell me about online dating and then I went out there and did it anyway. Which I had somebody asking me out and I kind of showed them the door on that conversation because they were like, I'm like, oh, you want to do this thing? And they were like, because they were kind of hinting at us getting together, and then they made a suggestion, and I said, oh, kind of like, oh, I could do that. So I asked them, like, so you're asking, like, to kind of clarify, like, you're asking for a date for this, event, and they're like, no, I'm wanting this and that, and blah blah blah, and talking about all the lovey-dovey, like, intimate partner stuff, and I just wrote back. I was like, for this event, I'm like, I'm going to pass. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know you. So, for me, that doesn't come until after I know somebody, right? So, if that is, one of your boundaries, you may have to show them the door. Okay. And yeah, right. Honestly, I had already kind of made a mention of this earlier, and I shouldn't have even been wasting time with that person because they had already made a couple comments that I was just kind of like questionable. Like, okay, I've not even met you, and you're already kind of like wanting me to talk like, a girlfriend would to a boyfriend. It's like when you've not even, offered to buy me a cup of coffee yet, sir. Wake up and smell the roses. Yeah, best be going. Buzz, buzz. When I wrote this down, it was more like you collective are the best bee. Like you're a busy bee. In the movie Gladiator, and he's like gets all mad. The emperor in charge is like, you're a busy little bee, right? Joaquin Phoenix is like so intensely, creepy in that movie. He plays a great creep. I'm just telling you, in that movie specifically. Anyway, because he recognized it was like, oh, somebody's been up to something. And yeah, sometimes the best man wins, right? Hard work pays off. And so anybody that doesn't like it, sorry, buzz off, okay? And if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. So you best be going. I just was watching she's not a new creator on YouTube, but she's new to me, and she was like shooing her husband out of the kitchen, but like she's younger than me, so it was like so cute. But they're obviously, they're married, so I get it. As my mother used to shoo my dad out of the kitchen. She used to shoo me out of the kitchen sometimes too, kind of like I knew I was in her way. So it was, it's just kind of like that. Again, don't have to say anything, but do you want to get trampled by the woman who's trying to fix your dinner, or, you just figure out something to be doing. Okay? Do something else with your time. Yeah. Mum's the word. Yeah, moms know. It's like, how you don't yell at your kids in the middle of the church, you give them the look. Okay? Like, hello, not everybody, they say like 80% of communication is nonverbal. Okay? So when somebody like types up a, social media post or something, what else goes into that? You know what I mean? That's kind of why I like sharing videos and stuff, because then you guys kind of get a better feel, I feel like, than just some of the written word. But the written word has its place too and gives us room for imagination. I was also thinking about this earlier. Some of you could be writers, some of you could be starting to self publish, or get your books listed on Amazon platform, or whatever it is. Okay. So, and if your book got there before theirs did, oh well, sorry. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we're all taught in elementary school how to read and write, and care for ourselves. So, the fact that somebody's continuing to do that out of a practice or habit, that's where it's like, we just have to say, sorry you feel that way, if it's so upsetting that somebody continued to develop themselves. All right. So, keep your flowers in mind. Maybe you're not a rose person. One of my friends that got married, she was into the daisies, and then she had all her friends kind of give flowers for her, like bouquet. And so she had like a bouquet of daisies at her wedding. You know, not everybody, what I mean? Some could be like, oh, well, that's not a traditional flower. Well, you know what the bride's gonna say? Sorry you feel that way. It's not your wedding, okay? You know what I mean? Like, decisions get made, right? So if here's, isn't that funny? Right here on these, got the daisies, okay? So I hope this message guides you where you need to go. Feel free to review this message again if you need to kind of focus in on some of the stuff in specific to situations going on. Obviously, not every single note here today of this new message series that I made for you guys is going to resonate. But if, some of them do, obviously you can go back and review, and then start to focus in and do some, affirmations, or, journaling. Some people like to do vision boards and things of that nature. There's a lot of things out there you can Google to get started if you need some assistance on that. But you just keep on keeping on, right? And worry about your own honey, right? He's like, I got my nectar collector over here. I'm good. So anywho, until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.